If America don't do nothing else, we gonna F up a vote. Y'all know good and damn well that Taylor and Clark should have been in the final. They are an actual couple, y'all. They're a couple. Oh my God. Look what y'all did to poor Chris. Chris's flabber was gasted that they were saved. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do with himself. Oh my God. I What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are gathered here today to talk Love Island USA Season 7, Episode 32. If you guys are brand new to the channel or a returning viewer, if you have not yet subscribed and become a member of the family, please do so at this time. We are roughly 200 subs away from 43,000. I would love to get to 44,000 by the end of the season, which is the end of the week. So if you guys haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, and then leave your comments down below. So we pick up with Amaya and Brian. They are in the hideaway. They get to kissing right away. They didn't waste any time, okay? We then see Taylor and Clark. So they're over to the side talking, and she asks him if he has wedding plans or things that he wants to do at his wedding. And Taylor was like, yeah, he wants everyone to come. He wants everybody that comes to his wedding to have their name or their initials on a cowboy hat. And then he asks her if she even wants a wedding, since some girls don't. I have a number of friends that did not have huge weddings. They didn't. They had little cute situations, and then they had big receptions, right? So it's not it's a common thing for it's personal preference. Some people are going to want big blowout weddings, and then others do not. Neither way is wrong, okay? So the marriage is for you, the wedding is for everybody else. So Clark said, nope, I want an extravagant wedding, and she wants to do a boudoir photo shoot for her husband. In his confessional, Taylor has said that he's thinking about being closed off, and he feels like he has known her for years, okay? And then they do one of his mwah, mwah. But this one wasn't as mwah, mwah. This one was a mwah. Right. It wasn't as bad. Okay. There's hope. There's hope. We then pan over to Huda, Coulda, Shoulda, and Chris. Huda tells Chris, you've been quiet today. He was like, I'm just mellow. She keeps asking, but what's wrong? 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 You okay? But what's wrong? I was like, damn, girl, he said he's fine. So he said that he still feels the same about her. He kind of blurts that out, and I thought that was weird, right? Because what that tells me is that in his mind, he doesn't feel the same way about Huda anymore. And this is not me. You know how y'all get down. This is not me doing that. But we saw a switch in Chris the past couple episodes in regards to Huda. We've seen a switch. It doesn't look like Chris is as into her as he once was. And it does bring some, maybe a little bit of truth to what people were saying, that Chris was really just trying to, I guess, make Shelly jealous by, some of the stuff he was doing and saying with Huda. Who knows, okay? But I just thought that was weird for him to just randomly blurt that out, like she didn't ask you that. So, okay. So he then said, she was like, so do you like me? And he was like, no, I like you a lot. I said, that's not how it goes, but okay. She then said, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. He was like, you can throw up in my mouth. You nasty son of a bitch. I don't even think joking like that is okay. Oh, y'all just be saying shit to be saying it. So she tells him to stop saying that. He said, don't tell me what to say. She was like, I just did. Now, in this moment, he says something, right, that was dubbed over that they wanted to dub out. I saw his mouth moving on my screen. Was it my peacock? Y'all, please let me know. He says something, and then he stands up, and then Huda looks pensive. So there was something in that conversation that production didn't want y'all to hear. Okay. Like it's given. We want to protect Huda when clearly he said something to her ass. Okay, so Hood is telling the girls in the makeup room that Chris was tired from parenting. No, girl, he's tired of you. Okay, I don't think the parenting is from this baby doll has anything to do with it. He's tired of yo ass Huda. Cause Chris is downstairs telling some of the guys that Huda doesn't kiss him outside of challenges, and he feels a way about that. He feels a way about that. So that night we see Iris and Pepe and Brian and Amaya having the segs. And then the next morning, Amaya tells Brian that she sees him as a romantic interest and one of her best friends. I said, "Oh, Amaya's so sprung. Got her a little bit of that vitamin D, and now it just nose wide open." I love it for you, sis. So Brian is telling the guys that they were in the jacuzzi, then they got right in bed, and he feels like he lost his virginity. I said, "Oh, okay." Amaya is telling the ladies that it was a great intimate time and that they went on their journey and it was a good one. Alandria said, "How many journeys?" Amaya said, "Two, back to back." And then she said, yes, he did listen to that Eat That Kitty in the Hideaway song and he ate her kitty. I said, oh, okay. We love that for you. So Alandria and Taylor are talking to Shelly. And they were like, you and Ace was arguing a lot. I can't have my baby around y'all. Like, it was a cute little scene. Shelly said that she is still excited to be a mom and ready to be a mom with the right partner. I thought that was interesting and a little telling for her to say that. Girl, why wouldn't you say with Ace with the right? But I told y'all last episode or last video that while they are together, they're cool. To me, there is something missing from them. Some of y'all were like in the comments, why is it because they're not fucking? Did I say that? I don't think I did. I said that there is something that is keeping them from fully connecting. And we are seeing that. It has nothing to do with them not fucking in the bedroom with six other couples. That's not what it is, okay? So Chris gets a text that it's time for a game of 3-on-3, no girls allowed. So the boys are going to go play basketball. So it is Ace, Pepe, and Brian versus Taylor, Chris, and Nick. Now, why y'all didn't put Tater Tot on Chris's team? That's not fair. They should have been partners. They should have been teammates. So little Tater Tot missed the one shot we saw him take. Pepe and Chris were out there hooping though. I'ma give them that. And Taylor too. I said, Taylor, tell me something. Tell me something, Taylor. Taylor got 2 points with me for being able to hoop, okay? So after the game, Ace said that he's excited to go back to the villa. Nick said that the process has been a roller coaster, and him and Alandria are really taking their time in doing this together. Y'all playing in everybody's face, okay? I know the Nick Alandriettes, y'all are really trying to do y'all big one, but they clearly have no romantic chemistry. You can even tell by the way that they stood together at the end. They don't have. Chris is realizing that you can't always be an avoidant. You got to really say what the fuck is on your mind when you need to. Yes, you do, Chris. Here's the thing with Chris, though. When it comes to Chris and Huda, Huda is who Huda is in that villa. Chris knew who Huda was before he came in over at Casa, right? You saw the footage. You saw all of that type of stuff that she did. Why you thought that she wouldn't be the same way with you, I don't know. I don't know. But I just kind of feel like, Chris, this is on you. Why did you let it get to the point? Because Huda asked you last episode, is there anything that she needs to do better? You had the time, opportunity, and the space right then and there to tell her some shit. And you chose not to. Right? So Taylor said that Clark gives him a feeling that he is not used to. He wants to be around her all the time and he wants to close things off. And I'm like, well, shit, it's only a couple days left. Of course you want to close things off. Like, the fuck? Nobody else is coming in. I guess. So he wants to set it up. Clark used to be a cheerleader, so he wants everybody to kind of help him out with a little cheer. So the girls are back at the villa playing Would You Rather. Nothing to see there. Alandria, Huda, and Shelly are talking, and Alandria tells Huda and Shelly that at first she felt guilty about, being coupled up with Nick, but now it feels natural. Yeah, because you naturally have no one else to be coupled up with. I'm sorry, y'all. I mean, I know y'all want to be, what did y'all say? Delulu till it's true. Y'all can do that, but I'm going to be real with y'all. Nick and Alandria were better off just saying that they were going to be a friendship couple, because y'all don't even give romance. Y'all don't get nothing about the two of them together looks as if they are being romantic. I told y'all she called him Nicky Poo last episode, and y'all were in the comments saying, they edited that in. Why would they edit that in? Why would they edit that in? Huda thinks that her and Chris communicate well. Chris who? Chris who? The Chris that doesn't tell you the truth because let's be real, he's probably scared of you. Okay. Huda feels that she's a lot calmer with Chris and she doesn't feel judged. You're calmer with Chris because Jeremiah will come back at you. Right? Jeremiah would let you know if he felt that you were trying to gaslight him. Jeremiah would let you know if he felt that you were wrongly accusing him of something. Jeremiah would let you know if he disagreed with you. Chris is not doing that because Chris wants to be in, like, Chris knows that Huda, Coulda, Shoulda is a bit of a fan favorite, right? So Chris is doing everything he can to stay in her good graces until the end of the episode. That mask has completely slipped and he just can't take it anymore. He just can't, okay? I mean, I'm judging you. Let me stop because y'all take everything serious.
You just hate Huda. You're a Huda hater.
Y'all take everything serious, okay? So the guys are limping back into the villa. They want to come in and act as if they just had a hard day down mining for gold, okay? They was like Chris dunked on, they said Ace dunked on Chris. I said Tater Tot little ass ain't dunk on nobody. I don't know. Muggsy Bogues could dunk though, couldn't he? Couldn't Muggsy dunk? Muggsy could dunk, okay? So Shelly was like, we had a good time, but I missed me some Ace. Amaya said she missed her bri. Alandria was like, Nick was like, did you miss me? She was like, yeah. But this is who y'all champion. This is who y'all... So it is time for the boogie, y'all. Let's go. All right, so the guys are practicing the little cheer that they are going to do for Clark. They like, how you do a R in a C, they getting it together. So Taylor decides that he's going to give the toast, and then it was a quick, let's go. And then the guys go get in formation, and they spell out Clark, and they do a little cheer, a little situation. He gives a very, very cute speech, and he asks Clark to be exclusive with him before, y'all know how Taylor get done. He runs his ass over to the boys to celebrate. I didn't mind it. The fact is, we can look at Taylor and Clark and we can tell that they, they like each other, and I'm all for Black love, always and forever. So like, I thought it was cute, to be real. I thought it was cute. The girls are congratulating Clark. The guys are congratulating Taylor. So then we see Huda and Chris. They get over to the side, and he immediately brings up when he asked for a kiss. Do you remember what happened yesterday? Remember I asked you for a kiss? Yeah, and I moved my head. Yeah, why did you do that? Well, I don't want to kiss in front of people, but you want to do things in the bedroom. I mean, in my brain, it's like it's PDA, and I just let me finish. Let me finish. If you don't feel comfortable kissing me, in my head, let me finish. Damn. We are still next to people when we're in the bedroom. Yeah, but that's different. Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay, sorry. I'm moving slower because I've been through a lot in here. What's the point of having sex next to people if we can't kiss in front of them? So Huda gets up and walks away, and Chris wonders if he's tripping. I'm gonna be real. Let me pull my scale out real quick, okay? Because I am a Libra. On one hand, I see what Huda is saying, okay? Huda doesn't want to do the PDA. Huda don't want to kiss in front of people. Fine. There's no issues with that. If that is how Huda feels, Huda has every right to tell him that, okay? On the other hand, I see what Chris is saying. So we can lay in bed literally inches from these other people and fuck, but you can't give me a quick kiss. Because it's not like Chris was asking her to tongue him down. He was just like, give me a kiss. They could have did a Taylor. Mwah. They could have did that. And I think when it comes to Chris, it's the fact that she looked around that kind of set him off, right? So Brian comes over and talks to Chris, and Chris is like, I can't do this shit no more. I said, what? Chris, you have 3 days left, Chris. You can't fake it for another couple days. So he said that every time he tries to explain himself or explain his stance and how he feels, Huda cuts him off, and Huda did cut him off. And I feel like when you're trying to explain something to somebody and they continually cut you off and they don't let you get your thought out, they don't let you get your point across, it's going to come across as if you just don't care about what I have to say. And that's what Huda was doing in that moment, right? So Chris is trying to explain to her that he feels a way about how she's been moving in terms of PDA. If she would have let Chris get out his full thought, his full sentence, his full statement, it would have went a lot different. But the way that Huda kept cutting him off, trying to get her point across, like, Huda, I thought y'all had good communication. This is not it. This is not it. So Chris is in his confessional saying that, you know what, we aren't seeing eye to eye, and he does not think that they ever will. I don't know. I don't know. So Huda goes to her confessional, and she said that she doesn't want to do anything she did in the last couple with Chris. But you are doing the same things though, Huda. You kissing Jeremiah is the least of your worries, right? You've already fucked Chris. You've already slept with Chris. It's been what, a week? A week and a half, and you've slept with him. And no, I'm not slut shaming her, but I'm saying if you wanted to do things differently with Chris than you did with Jeremiah, you wouldn't have slept with Chris already. That would be taking a different approach. Huda leads with the physical. Huda leads with sex. We've seen it. Every time her and Jeremiah would get into an argument, she would turn around and it would be, but you like my fat ass though, right? But you know, you like when I kiss you though. Like, she has always turned to physical to avoid having a conversation, to avoid having somebody tell her what it is and what it ain't. Huda lacks accountability. She lacks accountability. So all Huda had to do was be straight up with Chris and say, oh, I want to pull back on the PDA. But then she knows that if she wants to pull back on the PDA, he's not going to want to fuck you at night. And she wants to keep having sex. It does give, I don't think Huda's embarrassed by him. I don't know what it is, but I see what she's saying, but she hasn't fleshed this out. You know what I mean? So Chris goes and talks to Amaya because he wants to get her perspective, and y'all know Amaya's gonna be the most honest, and he tells Amaya that Huda looked around when he asked for a kiss, and he's confused how she wants to be intimate with the lights off, but she doesn't want PDA, and it makes him feel like she's embarrassed of him. Now, if Huda would have stopped cutting him off, he would have been able to express that. They would have been able to have a real conversation about it. But again, if I'm trying to tell you something and you're continually cutting me off, it's going to irritate me. It is going to irritate me, okay? So Amaya said, well, look, you're entitled to feel how you feel. If you feel like that, then you feel like that. But, you know, Huda is just probably trying to protect herself. Y'all will be okay. And I feel like Amaya gave the best response. She validated Chris's feelings, told him you're not crazy, you're entitled to your feelings, and then just told him, Hood is probably trying to protect herself. But at the end of the day, y'all got to have a conversation about this. Because if Huda didn't want to do the PDA, that's something that should have been explained and something that should have been talked about over in Casa before y'all even came back over here. So Nick and Alandria. So Alandria said that she's happy for Taylor and Clark. So then she started lying. Talk about, he's in vet school and he wouldn't really have time for me like that anyways. And I always knew that. Did you? If you are like Alandria feels that things worked out the way that they need to. Y'all can keep trying to pull this fate shit all y'all want to, Nick and Alandria. Y'all are together by default. Y'all are together by default. And whenever I say that, a Nicolandriette comes in my comments and was like, no, no, no. They had Taylor and they had Sierra in the way. Let's be very, very clear. If Nick wanted to pursue Alandria, he had every opportunity to. He had a chance to do so because I think people are forgetting Sierra was a bombshell. He was with Bella. Okay, Sierra was a bombshell. If Nick honestly and truly wanted to explore and pursue Alandria, he could have done it those first couple days they were there. He could have done it, okay? So Amaya and Huda are talking, and Amaya tells Huda that Chris feels that she's embarrassed to kiss him. And Huda was like, no. It's just that I kissed, in my last couple in front of other, the other islanders, and everybody had an opinion. No, nobody had an opinion about the fact that you were kissing Jeremiah. They had an opinion about the fact that you were calling that man a bitch and a pussy and to suck your dick and all that other kind of stuff. That's what they had an opinion on. Huda, and you know that. Nobody had an opinion about y'all kissing. All they asses be kissing all up and through. Nobody cared about that. They had an opinion on the way that you treated him. They had an opinion on your crash outs. They had an opinion on your behavior. Nobody had an opinion on you kissing a nigga you were in a couple with. Stop that. Stop all that lying and shit now. I'm getting tired of it, Huda. So Huda feels that it's only her and Chris's business when they kiss, and it's true, 1000%. But you make it everybody's business that y'all are fucking. That's the thing. So Huda gets emotional and feels like she is letting Chris down. Girl, you are. Go talk to him about it. That's all you have to do. Go have a conversation. So Pepe gets a text, get y'all asses to the fire pit. America's been voting. So they find out that America's been voting. We about to send one of y'all home, okay? So the couple with the fewest votes will be dumped tonight. You have 30 minutes, okay? The first couple saved in no particular order. Shelly and Ace, hoo-hoo, hooray, okay? The second couple safe is Amaya and Brian. The third couple safe is Iris and Pepe. I said... I'm not trying to be funny, but who's voting for them? Who is voting for Iris and Pepe? Okay. The fourth couple safe is Huda and Chris. Baby, Chris looks so pissed. Chris was mad. Chris didn't want to be safe. Chris is ready to go home. He told y'all earlier that he don't know how much more he can take. Chris was really looking at Huda like, do you know you have 30 minutes? So then they sit down and Huda pulls his arm around her and reaches for the other arm, and she's looking at him and he's looking at her like, I said, damn, Huda, you done fucked up another one. So the fifth couple safe is Nick and Alandria, and I said, what? What? So Clark and Taylor are dumped from the island. Alandria hugs them right away, very classy base. And I was like, I'ma always root for Black love. Always. I just feel like Clark didn't deserve the way that America has treated her, right? Y'all were mad at Taylor because Taylor played in Alandria's face. Sure. But at the end of the day, Alandria played in her own face when it came to Taylor as well. I want to call him Tyler. When she let Taylor play in her face. I just Nick and Alandria's ass should have went home tonight because they not a real couple. Nonetheless, at least Clark and Taylor are closed off. She knows how he feels about her. He knows how she feels about him. I feel like I said that wrong. They know how they feel about the other. Ace, little tater tot, his homeboy's about to leave, so he feels a way about that. But him and Nick let Taylor know that you got brothers for life. For life. I said, I know that's right. For life. The girls rally around Clark. I was cackling, though, when Clark was packing, talking about it, at least, it's so lovely to meet all you ladies. And Alandria was not paying attention. She was over there fixing her boobs in her little jean outfit. I said, Alandria. But yeah. So y'all had a vote tonight to vote who you think should be in the final. We know who's gonna be in the final. Truth be told, let's be real about this. The final was gonna be Huda and Chris, Shelly and Ace, and y'all are gonna get Nick and Alandria up in there, and then Pepe and Iris are going to be sent home. Let me know who you guys are voting. Well, no, you vote to keep somebody. Who do y'all think should not go to the final? Okay. Out of these 5 couples, who do you think should not go to the finals? Put it down below. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.